What's up, guys? Your boy Godsu King Solo here. Bring you guys this Destiny 2 reveal gameplay and bring you guys my impressions and thoughts of it. I'm gonna try to keep it short, under 10 minutes, but who knows? I might just start babbling. So anyway, the reveal happened today, and my first impressions were I wasn't too excited. I wasn't too disappointed. It was kind of expected of what they showed. They showed a mission. They showed a bunch of cinematic stuff. They showed their own video explaining things or whatever. And they didn't really get to all the points that we all wanted. I wanted to know it's going to be cross-platform with PC and console, and it doesn't have to be multiplayer cross-platform. It can just be PvE, story missions, all that stuff. Cross-platform, PC, PS4, Xbox, or release transferring over characters so I can play with my friends on console and PCs. They didn't answer that question today. Really let down. Beta information, they didn't give us anything saying it's going to be the summer. Pretty sure it's going to be the same thing as Destiny 1. It's going to come in July. July like 4th, or not July 4th, but like July 8th or whatever when it came out for Destiny 1. I think the alpha came out right after E3. So that's like the end of June? Beginning of June, middle of June. So around that time. I hope it's a lengthy beta like Destiny 1 was. We got to play it for a long time. So I hope it's like that. I hope they give us a couple multiplayer maps, couple multiplayer modes, like one story mission, like the mission that we're playing here, but maybe up to the finish, and one strike, and I'll be fine with that. That'll be enough to get the gist of the game, put in a good amount of weapons and stuff so you can see the customization. They should unlock transmogrification. That's something that they said they have in the game. So we get to see that. We get to see the new weapon system where you get to basically make your own loadout, which is something that I said back in Destiny 1 when it first came out. It's like, fuck all this other stuff. Give us the opportunity to put another primary in our bag, because some people don't like playing with shotguns and pulse rifles and handguns and all the other stuff. Give us the opportunity to, or not handguns, but sidearm. Give us the opportunity to have two primers on our back, so we could just be better. And they're doing that this time. They changed up the weapon system a little bit. They added in grenade launchers, submachine guns, which they didn't show off today, which I was very, very disappointed in. You have this new weapon archetype and you don't show it off in your reveal. That's a bad move by Bungie. They're showing off all this other stuff like this grenade launcher, bazooka type thing, but they don't show submachine gun. So I was really let down by that. Here you see the person playing as a warlock. I think the warlock has a new ability where wherever they're standing, they get a buff, as you just see right there. They get a buff, a weapon buff, maybe increased rate of fire, increased damage. I think that's a cool thing, and I think that's a good sign for the future of the game. One thing that Bungie needs to do is, as an MMO shooter, whatever anybody want to call this, an MMO shooter, as this, they need to get down the holy trinity. They need a character that can tank, they need a character that can do DPS, and they need a character that can buff and heal allies. And I think that's the start of it right there with the warlock. That's something that needs to be done on a greater scale. Maybe there's going to be upgrades to that circle to where it's bigger, or where everybody that steps in and keeps it, or she gets to put it on people or stuff like that. I think there needs to be more of those, so we can actually make a competitive arena instead of multiplayer. We can have multiplayer, but then make a competitive arena, like a WoW arena. Not as much healing in WoW as in this game, so the games won't last as long, but they'll be as intricate and difficult as people want it to be. People want to be really competitive, so I think that's one thing that they need to do, and they really need to look forward into doing. That's just my thought. I don't know about anybody else, but that's my thought. My thought on the supers that they showed, nothing special. The warlock got the Sunbreaker. Hunters got Blade Dancer again. Doesn't make any type of sense. I just think I hope that they're replacing Blade Dancer with that class and giving. I hope that they're replacing whatever archetype that they showed. I hope they're replacing the old supers with those and bringing in new supers as the game go along, because we have 4 supers, but 2 of the supers are the same pretty much. Like the Sentinel one is pretty much the same as the Titan shield. You just say now you have the ability to throw your shield. the Warlock's new super is the same as Sunbringer, and the Hunter's super is the same as Blade Dancer. So I don't really see the difference in the supers to make them stand out, because they don't. They're just reskin supers pretty much. So I think that they really let me down on that, and they really dropped the ball on these supers. They should have opened up a new archetype of element. They should open up a new element. It could have been nature, something like that, to be like, okay, let's push the envelope. Let's do something like that. Give the Titan maybe ability to create walls instead of a shield. The wall can do the same thing as a shield, but now it cuts off an area. So you're playing like domination, and then you cut off an area where you see a whole team is coming. You cut that area off, boom. Now they gotta try to jump over or find another way around. Things like that. Warlock can get something that buff the teammates and stuff. A Hunter can get something more of a, well, we have a gunslinger, we have the bow and arrow for more CC. Give us something that is just like a self buff, not like a hand, not the golden gun, not the blade dancer, but give us something more of a buff, like, oh, when you go into this mode, you're a lot faster, you're a lot more tankier, you heal faster, or your gun gets lifesteal. Makes the Hunter more tanky. That's something that the Hunter doesn't have, is a tank stat. All the other ones have a tank one. The Warlock has a tank type of a tank super. Titan definitely have a tank super. Should have did something with that with the Hunter, but they dropped the ball on that. So I'm disappointed with the supers. I don't really understand their thought process with the super, but we'll see what they do when the game actually comes out. I hope that they have a very, very deep character customization system now, like how we had the trees in Destiny 1 with the guns and the supers. I hope that is expanded upon. I hope it is way, way more options, because there shouldn't be no reason why, with 3 years to make this game, that customization isn't something that should just be very, 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 very expanded upon. So hopefully they did something with that, because I would like to take my time to level up characters. We're getting a new super. We should be starting from 0. We should have to level up each super from 0. So if we want to go back to Golden Gun, if we want to go back to Blade Dancer, if we want to go back to the bow and arrow, whatever it's called. I haven't played Destiny in a long time, but we should have to level those things up from 0. It should take time. Leveling our character to max level should take time. That's one thing that they need to do. They don't need to go back and be like, dang, people didn't like grinding, so let's just make leveling easier. No, don't make leveling easier. Just give us more content to play, so we're not repetitively doing everything, because when the game dropped, we only had 3 strikes. Raid didn't come out for a long time. Multiplayer was like, we didn't have a lot of things to do. Give us a lot of things to do now, so it's easier to level up, and there will be no complaints. Let's see, the story mode looks promising. I hope that with the level structures, that they're better and way more thought out, and the objectives that we actually do during the missions are better, because then that makes it more of an enjoyable experience to level up our characters if the story mode is good, and if what we're doing in the story mode is actually fun. Strikes, I hope that they really redid strikes, because I believe that they said there's a 3 level boss in the first strike that they're going to put out, or whatever it is. A 3-stage boss, which is something that's good. That should be a thing. That should be it. You fight one boss here, you fight one boss there, you fight the other boss at his last form. That's something cool. That's good. I will agree with that. But in between the boss fights, there has to be good encounters, hard encounters that make beating the strikes difficult, so that when people actually beat them, they feel rewarded, and then when they go back to do them, it's not like, oh man, we got to go through 30 minutes of shooting his eyeball in the eye and shooting his tank in the leg. Like, it has to be way more different than that. So hopefully that's something that they do. I hope there's a ton of armor and weapons to get. They should not go back to what they did in Destiny 1 and make all the armor and all the weapons repetitively look like each other. That's something that should not happen. That should not happen in this game at all. It just shouldn't happen. I don't think that that's something that should even be an issue with the first game, but it was to me. And especially with the transmogging, that there definitely should be a lot more gear and a lot more different gear, because now we can make gear look like the gear that we actually want. We can make our characters look like what we actually want and play the exact way that we wanted to play. I'm big fan of white and gold. That's always my theme in pretty much every game I play, or I try to make it. And I did that in Destiny, but I had on like the Alfie Loopy chest, and it kind of sucked. So transmogrification is really big for me because it let us all personalize our characters the way that we want to. The thing that they said with the hub with multiplayer, when you can see when people are supers are up, you can see it before over their names with their bars was always glowing, but now you get to see through the HUD, which is better, so that gives more information. So they said that they redid Crucible 4v4, which I thought was always a good number for multiplayer in these type of games. They're making the map smaller, which we pretty much had a lot of smaller size maps when the game first came out. Then they started expanding it. That was the choice that they made, but hopefully the game modes are good. Maybe we'll have some 6v6 game modes like domination or different playlists, so we can play 4v4, 6v6, 3v3, solo. So Rumble and all the other stuff, you get to do that. The thing with guided teams, with clans matching with solo players, that's a good idea. That helps people that play by themselves or people that don't have a lot of friends get into the game and continue doing things. But a lot of the things that they revealed and showed are kind of things that they were just like, we messed up in Destiny 1, so here what we're going to do in Destiny 2 to fix that. But it's nothing new. Like, clans is nothing new. Looking for matchmaking people with content is nothing new. These are things that should have been done in the game, and they didn't do it, so now they're coming back and fixing them for Destiny 2. So to me, I'm kind of let down by the reveal, because to me, Destiny 2 to me personally, it just seems like an expansion. I'm pretty sure that this is, when we saw the Destiny timeline, they showed the expansions for Destiny 1, and then there was like this big expansion, but it didn't say Destiny 2, but it was a big expansion. I think this is it. I think they're just naming it Destiny 2 to get more people back into the game or whatever, but I feel like this is just an expansion. We get 3 worlds, which is basically what we got when we played Destiny 1, is 3 worlds. A new land on Earth. And that's pretty much it for the most part. That's pretty much it. New multiplayer map, new strikes, a raid, which I'm disappointed they should have put 2 raids in, but I'm disappointed there's only 1. Yeah, so to me it just feels like a big expansion. I feel like the worlds are reskins. They just look the same as the other worlds. We should have kept the worlds that we already had: Moon, Mars, Venus. Those are things that should have stayed. Like, even the old content, I think the old content should have stayed. Even though they're saying this is a new game, not having that other content to play, they should do the same thing they did with Earth. They should have took all these other places and just give us another zone, redid it, rethought it, new enemies, new bosses, new missions, new strikes. They could have did all of that stuff, and they could have made missions that had nothing to do with the story mode. It just had to do with your character, or had to do with learning the lore and Destiny separate from the story that's going on. Bring us back in time and do older things. Let us see the expansion. Let us see the golden age. They could have did so much stuff with Destiny, and I feel like they missed. And I don't want to see it come in DLC, because that's just whack. I mean, the fact that they're already talking about DLC. Oh, we got 2 DLC expansions planned already. Like, we shouldn't even be talking about DLC when the game just came out. We should get that content. This game, I hope this game has enough content in it to last us up past the first DLC. We should be still leveling our characters, or just finish leveling our characters when the DLC is about to come out. That's just my opinion. That's what I think. Hopefully that's something that happens. Hopefully they redid the leveling system so that we can keep leveling. So maybe once you get the max level and you get your first super, then you got to keep going and level up your next super and next super and next super and next super, just to make the game better. So now you got to make choices of what you want instead of just having it all and just leveling up eventually. So hopefully, with these things being said, that Destiny 2 is definitely a better game than Destiny 1 at the start. I don't think Destiny was a bad game. I just think that at launch it was horrible. And they explained, the problems that they went through and the issues with, people leaving the company, getting fired by Activision, which I kind of find is such It's just mind-boggling that Activision is up on the stage. The CEO of Activision is like, yeah, this game's so great, blah blah blah. But it's just like, dog, you ruined it. The game was better before you fired everybody from the team because of their story. And like, I just I'm just upset. I wish they would have got back the guy that they fired for the story, because the story that we heard prior to E3 when Destiny was revealed was amazing, and then the story that we got was horrible because they fired him and then they were scrambling to make a new story. So hopefully Destiny 2, the story is better. It looks promising. It looks like, the Traveler is getting stolen, taken, about to get destroyed. Who knows what happens, but that's pretty much what I'm leaning towards they're going to do. And maybe we'll figure out some things that happened in the past. I really hope in the future they bring us back in time. Like, shoot, give us a expansion with the Vex, and then the Vex capture us and then throw us into a time portal that sends us back into the Golden Age, and we can go through all the wars, and we can see when the Traveler came, and we can experience all these other things that will make more sense in the future than us speculating or reading Grimoire cards or all this other stuff. Give us the actual gameplay in the game for the things that happened in the past. So overall, it wasn't a bad reveal, but it wasn't the greatest. They didn't hit on a lot of things that I know we got questions for. Knowing Destiny, knowing Bungie, knowing Activision, probably going to do something at E3 for PlayStation, because PlayStation is PlayStation for them. So they're probably going to give us the beta date like they did at E3 for Destiny 1. Tell us when the beta is going to be. And then after that, do specials with IGN and all these other places and show us gameplay week on week on week until the alpha and the beta comes up. And then we'll have Destiny in our hands and we get to make our own decisions. But as of right now, from what I saw, the story looks good. Kind of happy what they did with the weapons, with letting us choose our own loadouts completely. Submachine gun edition, that's good. The changes to Crucible, I feel like they're going to be good. Change it for matchmaking, always good. And just hopefully there's a lot of content, especially with public events and the lost sectors. And then I'm saying that there's going to be a dark zone like area and all the patrol areas, I believe, where you can attack other guardians and their fire team. That's right there. It's going to make the game fun outside of doing missions, raids, and multiplayer. Is having that area, and hopefully when you defeat people, you get something for it. You get loot, or you can get loot, collect loot. People drop engrams, things like that. So hopefully they really capitalize on that. And I just gotta wait till the beta to see. But for right now, I give it a B-, a C+ for a reveal. Nothing too special. It is what it is. They showed us enough to get us interested in it, but nothing to blow us away yet, so we'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, guys, it's the end of my video. Pretty much longer than what I wanted it to be, but it is what it is. We're rambling, we're getting these games, so hopefully see E3 in a couple of weeks. We get to see more Destiny, and then after that we get the beta in our hands, we all get to play it. And then definitely I'm gonna be bringing more content. I've been gone for a while. A lot of things happened. Had a baby, everything like that. So I'm getting back into gaming. I'm getting back into streaming. I'm getting back into doing YouTube videos. So Destiny 2 is definitely where I want to start daily content. Again, Destiny 1 is where I wanted to start, and then I kind of fell off with that, working and doing all these other things. But right now I'm in a better position to where I have designated time for gaming and doing all this other stuff. So definitely in the future I'm going to be seeing you guys more. You guys are going to be hearing from me more. You're going to be seeing more content and videos, and that's always going to be good. But anyway, guys, I'm going to see y'all later. It's your boy Gasu. Peace.